What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Our first question comes from Trojan of Narnia, who asks if we have any bold predictions about what new announcements we might get at Star Wars Celebration next week.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know. Bold predictions?
I don't think they're going to announce a whole lot of new stuff, especially not movies or TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're just focusing on things we already know are coming out. I do think that we'll probably hear some news about new comics or new books because Lucasfilm Publishing has 2 panels. Marvel has a panel. So I think we're going to get some comics or book announcements, but I'm not expecting, like, here's what the Benioff Weiss movies are about, or we're also working on this new trilogy or this new series, but who knows?
I mean, I would say maybe, as far as bold predictions, we're probably going to get the first episode of Season 2 of Resistance. We may get an episode of The Clone Wars at that panel.
Yeah. I think both of those are likely.
Yeah. And hopefully we get some sort of trailer for The Mandalorian.
I think we're going to get a lot of trailers.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of trailers this week, but it's just like, I think it's all going to be stuff that we already know about.
I'll say I will predict that Mark Hamill is coming, and he will show up dressed as a Force ghost.
For a bold prediction, I'll be a bold one and say that they'll announce an Obi-Wan Kenobi something or other. Movie or TV show.
You are a bold one.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. But if you want a bold prediction, there it is.
Yeah. And other than that, I guess I'm going to hopefully say this and hope in my heart that it's true. I'm going to boldly predict that more people will get into the big panels than expected.
Yeah, it does seem like a big space.
Yeah. Hope M asks if we think Star Wars Resistance will feature any Clone Wars or Rebels characters in Season 2.
I don't think so.
Unless you count Lando as one of those, maybe.
He's not an exclusive. Hondo Ohnaka, I think that one has potential.
Yeah.
He's been someone that's popped up in both Clone Wars and Rebels so far. Other than that, like, as I'm not counting like legacy characters, movie characters. I'm talking more like Ahsoka, Ezra, those guys. And I don't think they're gonna follow up on that story. At least not in Season 2. Hope did put forth the idea that we could see Kix, the clone trooper that's alive in the sequel trilogy era, and I would love that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be a good tie back to the Clone Wars, so I'm on board for that. But I think Hondo Ohnaka is probably the most likely.
Yeah. I think we're more likely gonna get characters from The Last Jedi, like maybe some pilots.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Resistance characters, kind of maybe more the side characters, give them some time in the spotlight.
Yeah, whatever Black Squadron was up to, maybe we'll see them.
Yeah, because we didn't see all of their adventures. Well, potentially. Like, they got into that in the comics, but I feel like there's still more wiggle room there. And we don't know what happened to them after the last issue where Poe meets back up with them. So yeah, we could pick that back up. And maybe the Resistance crew is going to have to work with Black Squadron to get back to the main Resistance. That could be neat.
Mike Theodore wants to know what happened to the rest of Thrawn's Star Destroyer crew in the season finale of Star Wars Rebels. Is Ezra stuck out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of Imperials?
I thought that was an interesting question, because yeah, most people are like, where are Ezra and Thrawn? It's like, oh yeah, he did take a whole Star Destroyer with him.
And the rest of the crew is maybe there.
There are a bunch of stormtroopers and Imperial officers on there. Yeah, I assume they're all on the Star Destroyer, and that balances things out between, like, Ezra as a Force user and, I mean, the numbers alone. So I guess the way I think that would play out is he's probably imprisoned, thrown in a cell, but then Thrawn might be like, we need him at some point, so they have to bring him back out.
Yeah. He may also, like, want to get close to him because he is a Force user.
Yeah. Learn to understand them a little more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Since Anakin wasn't so cooperative.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think there's a lot to explore there, and I think they will sooner or later, be it in a book or another show or something.
They're all going to be best friends when we see them again.
Yeah, I think that's a given. All 40,000 of them.
Yeah.
40,002 best friends.
Jared Bowman Stubbs asks if we want to join a Schmodown faction and if we'd ever consider doing an Inner Geekdom Schmodown, and do we think we could take Cushing or Kalinowski?
I would do an Inner Geekdom match, but I don't think I would beat Kalinowski or Cushing.
Oh, Cushing, she's a monster in the best way.
Yeah. Every time she answers a question, there was one in the most recent championship match for that belt. She got like the bonus question, and it was Harry Potter, and it was like, what page does Snape tell the class to turn to? She knew it like without a thought, and I'm like, I can do that for Star Wars movies, but to do that for every single fandom is insane.
Yeah.
And she knows her regular movie trivia too. Like Oscars, she knows it all.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't think. At one point I was like, maybe I could get up there and get to the belt, but after seeing the two of them battle, I'm like, there's no way.
I think if you studied, you could definitely hold your own in an Inner Geekdom match, and if you studied, maybe.
Yeah.
Me, no way.
There's also this new guy, Smets. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's like a rookie this year, and he has been killing it. He terrifies me. But
is he the one they were calling the kid?
No, that's like, he looks younger than I do. Finally, someone on the Schmodown looks younger than I do. Nah, he's more of a face. Smets is kind of a heel, but still seems like a nice dude. But as for a faction, I don't really think anyone would like want us. I don't, and I only mean that because we're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like we can't be there to support the faction. So, I mean, of course I would join the Knights of Kin.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
But
we'd be unstoppable.
Like, what would I do? How would I help Ken at all? I'm stuck out here.
Yeah.
That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films, and we also do Clone Wars episodes, and right now we are doing Innocence of Ryloth, so that's out right now. And like I said, if you don't get your question answered on this video, we give a written response to every single question asked every week, so go check that out.
On to YouTube questions. Nathan Smith asks why Anakin and ObiWan didn't go help Ahsoka with the Siege of Mandalore after the Battle of Coruscant.
I think that, we don't know exactly how the siege went down yet. It could be that it wraps up rather quickly. Like maybe the siege happens at the same time as the Battle of Coruscant. By the time it's over, they don't need to go help. But even if it were still going on, Anakin just found out that he had a baby on the way. So I don't know that he would run off immediately to help Ahsoka. I don't know.
Also, I feel like we will see that probably in Clone Wars Season 7, and I feel like that is something that they specifically want to just be Ahsoka's thing.
I think so too, yeah.
So I think that was done on purpose. So
the way that they've told the story, at least through like sketches and concept art, yes, I totally agree that that's going to be like Ahsoka's thing.
Yeah.
It could be that it's not like a really super sanctioned Republic mission even. So maybe the council's like, no, you got to stay here.
Yeah, you can't go help her. We got rid of her for a reason.
Oh, that sounds real harsh. She left. They invited her back. But after they really messed her over.
Yeah, messed her over.
Trying to say it diplomatically.
The Bleaker wants to know how Darth Sidious found out Luke was Darth Vader's son.
I assume he just heard the name Skywalker being thrown around and he put two and two together.
He's sneaky like that.
Like, he hears about this kid who's strong with the Force that blew up the Death Star and his name's Skywalker, and he's like, uh-oh. That's how he would say it, right?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I imagine him being like, what's his name from Game of Thrones, and has like all these spies around.
Those little birds.
Yeah, little birds whispering secrets to him. And yeah, somebody just told him. It's like, hey, pretty sure that kid is Vader's.
I think he's smart enough to figure it out for himself. I mean, Skywalker, it doesn't seem like it's that common of a name.
Yeah.
And no one really did anything to hide Luke all that well. Should we change his last name to Lars? No? Okay. So yeah, I think he just kind of figured it out. Or there's potential that... I would say there's potential that he knew it was a possibility, but if that were the case, he'd probably be searching the galaxy for Luke. So yeah, I guess he probably didn't find out until after the Death Star.
Do you think that he knew all along that he had kids?
No.
Or had kind of an inkling of maybe?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that it's possible, but if he knew that, then he would have gone searching for Luke and Leia. And since he didn't, I think it's more likely that he didn't find out until people were talking about this Skywalker kid that blew up the Death Star, and he was like, wait a second. So it's a perfect impression. I don't know why you keep laughing.
No, I like that you can come in and out of it. So
Thank you.
So gracefully. Martin Kimball asks if we think 1 year is enough time for Star Wars Resistance to tell a full story, or will that time limit the show?
So the current rumor that we don't have confirmed is that Episode 9 will take place a year after The Last Jedi. If that's the case, and assuming that the First Order conflict is over at the end of Episode 9, does that leave enough time for Resistance to tell a compelling story? Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean...
They've done it so far.
Yeah, and Clone Wars filled up 3 years with... Now it's going to be 7 seasons. They had 8 planned at the very least. So, yeah, they can just, like, cram adventures into a time period. I don't think they super care about, like, is this timeline getting a little too busy? Like, no, they don't mind.
Yeah. Arthur Weisfeld wants to know how he thinks Sidious felt about Dooku sending Anakin to his death in Attack of the Clones.
I thought that was an interesting thought, like, because I'm sure Dooku didn't know Sidious had these plans for this special boy.
Yeah.
That he wanted to replace Dooku eventually.
Yeah.
So I doubt Sidious, like, chastised Dooku at all. It was like, why did you do that? See, I get to do it again. Why would you do that?
No, he didn't want to blow his cover.
I also think that he would have been like, you know, if Anakin were killed by a Reek, that's what took him down, then
probably not the chosen one.
Right.
Probably not worth
I don't want him
making Big Machine Man out of.
Yeah. Maybe don't make him into a metal monster. Yeah, I think that if Anakin had died then, he would have just been like, well, that wasn't the apprentice for me. Like, dodged a bullet. Oh, that was bad. That one was bad. I feel bad. Dodged a bullet.
You got too confident.
I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I mean, all throughout the Clone Wars series, it's just, like, Palpatine, I feel like, holding his breath a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that Anakin, ooh boy, he sure is a feisty one.
He sure does almost get himself killed a lot.
Yeah. Lux Ray asks if we want the IG droid voiced by Taika Waititi to be funny like some of Taika's other roles. Like, what's...
Korg?
Korg, yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm split on this. Like, I think I would like it, but there is a part of me, like the part that takes Star Wars a little too seriously, that I'm like, oh, but IG-88's a badass. And like...
He may not be IG-88, though.
That's true. He could just be an IG droid. So there is that wiggle room. But let's, for the sake of argument, say it's IG-88. Like, I think I would get used to it pretty quickly. I'd be like, all right, IG-88 isn't exactly how I remember him from Shadows of the Empire, stomping around and terrifying the daylights out of me.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if they made him kind of funny, it would not be at the level of Korg.
No.
It would be a lot more toned down, and I think it would fit in perfectly. Like, I hope the show is fairly dark and ominous, and then that, whatever episode that is, or however many episodes he's in, he brings a little bit of comedy in.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with it. I just don't want him to overdo it. Yeah, I don't want it to be Korg levels or What We Do in the Shadows level, even though that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I still want IG-88 to be believable as a scary assassin robot, but there's room for comedy. I need to see it before I can pass judgment, and I think it'll be fine. But there is part of me that I'm like,
so far all the droids that speak have been the comedic relief.
That is
for the
true.
Most part. So
like at some point, maybe make a serious droid.
Well, I feel like R2 is pretty serious, but he doesn't really speak.
There's droids like HK-47 though, who like in KOTOR he is the comic relief, but in more of a like I'm gonna kill you, haha, that's funny kind of way.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put them in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.